When desperate Luna Martinez takes a nanny job at the mysterious Montenegro estate, she never imagined one touch would ignite a passion that could destroy them both. Gabriel Montenegro isn't just a grieving widower and powerful businessman. He's a man haunted by secrets that could tear apart everything Luna holds dear. What happens when love blooms in the shadows of betrayal? Asterisk, welcome back, dear friends and story lovers. Tonight we bring you a tale where love is tested, secrets come to light, and fate takes an unexpected turn. Every moment will pull you in deeper, and every choice could change everything. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and if this story touches your heart, subscribe, share it with someone who believes in true love, and hit the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Asterisk, the sound of shattering glass echoed through the Montenegro mansion as 7-year-old Emma hurled another vase against the marble wall. Luna Martinez pressed her back against the hallway door, listening to the child's desperate sobs mixing with her employer's strained voice. Emma, please, we've talked about this. Gabriel's words carried exhaustion that no amount of money could cure. I don't want another nanny. They always leave. Emma's voice cracked with the kind of pain that made Luna's chest tighten. 3 weeks had passed since Luna arrived at this gilded prison, and every day revealed new fractures in what should have been a perfect life. The mansion's pristine walls concealed screaming matches, Emma's night terrors, and Gabriel's increasingly dangerous drinking habits. Luna pushed open the door. Emma sat curled in the corner of the destroyed playroom, her dark hair matted with tears, while Gabriel knelt helplessly nearby. His expensive shirt was wrinkled, his usually perfect appearance disheveled. Maybe I can help, Luna said quietly. Gabriel's eyes snapped to hers, and she saw something raw there. Something that made her pulse quicken despite every warning in her head. Miss Martinez, this isn't your concern? Actually, it is. Luna walked past him and sat on the floor near Emma, but not close enough to threaten her space. Emma, do you know why I'm really here? The little girl peered up through tangled hair. 'Cause Daddy pays you. No, I'm here because my father is dying, and I need this job to save him. It's just like you need people who won't leave you. Luna's voice remained steady despite the tremor in her hands. But here's the thing about needing people. Sometimes we have to take risks on them. Emma's sobs quieted. Gabriel remained frozen, watching Luna with an intensity that made her skin burn. My mama died too, Luna continued. Not the same way as yours, but gone is gone. And I learned something important. When you push everyone away, you get exactly what you're afraid of? Nothing. The silence stretched between them until Emma whispered, Will you read to me tonight? If your father says it's okay? Gabriel nodded, his throat working as if words had become impossible. Later that evening, after Emma had finally fallen asleep, Luna found Gabriel in his study. The room smelled of expensive whiskey and something darker. He stood at the window, silhouetted against the city lights, and she could see the tension in every line of his body. Thank you, he said without turning around, for earlier. She's just scared. So am I. The admission came out broken, vulnerable. Every day I watch her drift further away, and I don't know how to reach her. I don't know how to be the father she needs. Luna stepped closer, close enough to smell his cologne mixed with whiskey. You're trying? That's more than most people get. He turned then, and she saw tears threatening in those dark eyes. My wife would have known what to do. She was good with Emma in ways I'll never be. Tell me about her, Gabriel's laugh held. No humor. Beautiful. Perfect. Everything I thought I wanted. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper, but not real. It's not like... He didn't finish the sentence, but Luna felt the unspoken words hanging between them like a live wire. The space between them seemed to shrink without either of them moving. Mr. Montenegro, I should go check on Emma. Gabriel, he said. When it's just us, call me Gabriel. Their eyes met and held. Luna felt that same electric current from their first handshake, multiplied now by weeks of stolen glances and careful distances. Gabriel's hand rose as if to touch her face, and she felt herself leaning into the possibility. The spell broke. When his phone rang, sharp and demanding, Gabriel stepped back, running a hand through his hair as he answered. Montenegro? What do you mean someone's been asking questions about Isabella? No, that's impossible. She's dead. His voice hardened into something Luna had never heard before. Find out who it is and make it stop. Luna's blood went cold. There was menace in Gabriel's tone, a darkness that reminded her she knew nothing about the man who was making her heart race. As he continued the conversation, using words like disappeared and permanently handled, Luna realized she might have walked into something far more dangerous than a grieving widower's household. Gabriel ended the call and turned back to find her staring at him with wide, frightened eyes. Luna, what you just heard, who was Isabella? The question hung between them like a blade. Gabriel's face went completely blank, and Luna saw the exact moment he decided whether to trust her with the truth or destroy her to keep his secret safe. Isabella was my wife's sister, Gabriel said finally, his voice carefully controlled. She died in a car accident 6 months before my wife passed. Some people refused to accept that explanation. Luna studied his face, searching for tells. Jaw was too tight, his breathing too measured. What kind of people? The kind who asked too many questions. Gabriel moved closer, and Luna caught the scent of danger beneath his expensive cologne. The kind who end up disappearing when they dig too deep into Montenegro family business. Every instinct screamed at Luna to run, but her feet remained planted. Are you threatening me? I'm protecting you. His voice dropped to a whisper. By warning you to forget what you heard. But Luna couldn't forget. Over the next few days, she found herself noticing things she'd missed before. The way certain visitors were escorted through a separate entrance. How Mrs. Henderson's friendly demeanor turned ice cold when answering specific phone calls. The fact that Emma never asked about her Aunt Isabella, even though children usually peppered adults with questions about dead relatives. The breaking point came on a rain-soaked Thursday evening. Luna was helping Emma with homework when she heard raised voices from Gabriel's study. Against her better judgment, she crept down the hallway. The Delgado family is getting suspicious, a man's voice said. They know Isabella didn't die in any accident. Then we have a problem, Gabriel replied. How much do they know? Enough to be dangerous? Word is they've hired a private investigator. Luna pressed closer to the door, her heart hammering. Against her ribs? Handle it, Gabriel said with cold finality. The same way we handled Isabella. The words hit Luna like ice water. Ice water? Gabriel hadn't just threatened to make problems disappear. He had actually done it. Isabella hadn't died in an accident. She had been murdered, and Gabriel had ordered it. Luna backed away from the door on trembling legs, but her shoulder bumped against a table, sending a decorative bowl crashing to the floor. The conversation inside stopped instantly. Footsteps approached the door. Luna ran, her heart pounding so loudly she was certain the entire house could hear it. She made it to Emma's room and pretended to be absorbed in helping with math problems. But her hands shook as she held the pencil. Miss Luna, are you okay? You look scared, Emma said with the unsettling perceptiveness of children. I'm fine, sweetheart, just tired. But Luna wasn't fine. She was trapped in a house with a man who killed people, caring for his daughter and falling dangerously in love despite every rational thought in her head. That night, she lay awake planning her escape. She would pack quietly, leave in the morning, and never look back. Her father would have to find another way to get his treatments. Some prices were too high to pay. Soft knock interrupted her spiraling thoughts. Luna, it's Gabriel. May I come in? She considered pretending to be asleep, but something in his voice made her open the door. He stood in the hallway wearing only pajama pants, his hair disheveled, looking more human than she'd ever seen him. I know you heard, he said. Luna's. The throat went dry. I don't know what you mean. The bowl you broke. The way you've been looking at me like I'm a monster. He stepped closer, and Luna found herself backed against the door frame. You're terrified of me. Should I be? Gabriel's hand rose to cup her face, his thumb tracing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. Yes, he whispered. You should. Run as far from me as you can get. And why are you touching me like this? Because I'm selfish. because I haven't felt anything real in years, and you make me remember what it's like to be human." His forehead dropped to rest against hers. "Because even though I know I'm going to destroy you, I can't make myself let you go." Luna's resolve crumbled. She should pull away, should demand answers, should protect herself. Instead, she found herself asking, what did Isabella do? Gabriel's hand stilled against her cheek. She found out about the family business, about the money laundering, the connections to people who solve problems with violence. She was going to expose everything. "So you killed her?" "I gave the order." His voice was raw with pain, and something that might have been regret. "She would have destroyed Emma's future, sent me to prison, left my daughter with nothing. I made a choice." Luna stared into his dark eyes, seeing the man who read bedtime stories to his daughter and the killer who eliminated threats with equal measure. "And if I become a threat?" Gabriel's grip on her face tightened almost imperceptibly. "Then we'll both find out what matters more to me, my daughter's safety or the woman who's making me question everything I thought I knew about myself." Honesty in his voice was more terrifying than any threat could have been, Luna realized. She wasn't just falling for a dangerous man. She was falling for a man who might have to choose between loving her and protecting his child. And she was no longer certain which choice would destroy her more completely. "Gabriel," she whispered, her lips almost brushing his. "Don't," he said, but his hands betrayed him, sliding into her hair. "Don't make me choose between keeping you safe and keeping you close, because I'm not sure I'm strong enough to make the right decision." Luna rose up on her toes, closing the distance between them, and discovered that some choices were too powerful to resist, even when they led straight into the heart of darkness. The kiss shattered every wall Luna had built around her heart. Gabriel's lips were warm and desperate against hers, tasting of whiskey and regret. His hands tangled in her hair, as if he could anchor himself to something pure in a world stained. With blood, when they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "This is insane," Luna whispered. "Completely," Gabriel agreed, his thumb tracing her swollen lips, "and I don't care." But their stolen moment ended abruptly when Emma's scream pierced. The night. They flew apart, racing to her room where they found her thrashing in the grip of another nightmare. "Mama, don't leave me. Please don't go." Luna reached Emma first, gathering the sobbing child against her chest. "It's okay, baby, you're safe. I'm here." Gabriel stood frozen in the doorway, watching Luna soothe his daughter with an ease that made his chest tight with longing and fear. This woman was becoming essential to both of them, which made her the most dangerous person in their lives. Over Emma's head, Luna's eyes met his, and he saw understanding there. She knew exactly how precarious her position had become. The next morning brought unexpected visitors. Luna was helping Emma with breakfast when Mrs. Henderson announced that Detective Martinez wanted to speak with Gabriel about Isabella's case. Luna's blood turned to ice. Martinez was her surname too, but it had to be a coincidence. It had to be. "Luna Martinez," the detective said when introduced, his weathered face creasing into a smile. "Any relation?" "She's my niece," Luna said, faintly, watching Gabriel's face go completely blank. "But I haven't seen him in years." Detective Martinez's smile faltered as he studied the expensive clothes Gabriel had bought her. The way she held herself differently now. "Luna, what are you doing here?" "I work for Mr. Montenegro. I'm Emma's nanny." The silence that followed was deafening. Luna felt Gabriel's gaze burning into her, felt the exact moment suspicion replaced whatever trust had been building between them. "Interesting coincidence," Gabriel said, his voice silk over steel. "Miss Martinez, would you take Emma upstairs? The detective and I need to discuss adult matters." Luna wanted to protest, to explain, but Emma was already tugging on her hand. As they climbed the stairs, she heard her uncle's voice, cold and professional. "Mr. Montenegro, I'm here because we've received new information about Isabella Reyes's death. Information that suggests it wasn't an accident." Luna spent the next hour in Emma's room playing dolls while her world collapsed around her. When Gabriel finally came to find them, his face was a mask of controlled rage. "Emma, go play in the garden with Mrs. Henderson," he said quietly. Miss Martinez and I need to talk. Emma looked between them, sensing the tension. Are you fighting? No, sweetheart, Luna managed. We just need to discuss grown-up things. After Emma left, Gabriel closed the door and leaned against it. Detective Ricardo Martinez is your uncle. Yes, the same Detective Martinez who's been investigating my family for 2 years. The same one who believes I murdered Isabella. Luna's throat felt raw. Yes, you just happened to apply for a job in my house. What a remarkable coincidence. It wasn't planned. I had no idea he was investigating you when I took this job. Gabriel's laugh was cold and bitter. Do you really expect me to believe that? The timing is perfect. You arrive just as the investigation heats up. You gain my trust, get close too. Emma, make me care about you. His voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. Make me fall in love with you. The words hit Luna like a physical blow. You think I'm a spy? I think you're very good at your job, better than I gave you credit for. Gabriel moved closer, and Luna saw the man who had ordered Isabella's death in his eyes. Tell me, Luna, what did you report back to your uncle? That I drink too much? That I have violent associates? That I'm emotionally unstable? I haven't reported anything? I didn't even know he was investigating you. Prove it. How can I? Prove something I didn't do? Gabriel pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Detective Martinez. It's Gabriel Montenegro. I have something that might interest you regarding your investigation. Luna's heart stopped. Gabriel, what are you doing? He held up a hand to silence her. Yes. I'd like to confess to the murder of Isabella Reyes. No. Luna lunged for the phone, but Gabriel caught her wrist. Interesting reaction for someone who's been trying to gather evidence against me. He said, ending the call before her uncle could respond. You can't confess to murder just to test me, can't I? If you're working with your uncle, then my confession gives you exactly what you wanted. If you're not, Gabriel's grip on her wrist tightened. If you're not, then you just proved you care more about protecting me than seeing justice done for Isabella. Luna stared at him, understanding the trap he'd laid. You're insane. I'm careful. There's a difference. Car door slammed outside. Through the window, Luna saw her uncle's police cruiser in the driveway. He'll be here in 2 minutes, Gabriel said. So you have a choice to make, Luna. You can tell him I just confessed to murder, which will put me in prison and Emma in foster care. Or you can convince him you know nothing useful, which makes you an accessory to covering up Isabella's death. Luna felt tears burning her eyes. Why are you doing this to me? Because I need to know who you really are, because my daughters. Safety depends on whether I can trust you. Because if you betray me, I want it to hurt you as much as it's going to hurt me. The doorbell rang downstairs. Gabriel stepped back, his face unreadable. Choose carefully, Luna. Because whatever you say in the next 10 minutes will determine whether you walk out of here as the woman I love or the enemy I have to eliminate. Luna's hands shook as she realized that falling in love with Gabriel Montenegro had just become a matter of life and death. Luna found herself sitting across from her uncle in Gabriel's pristine living room, her hands folded to hide their trembling. Gabriel sat beside her, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body, far enough that the distance felt like a chasm. Luna, I have to ask, Detective Martinez said, his kind eyes worried. Have you noticed anything unusual about Mr. Montenegro's behavior? Any visitors, phone calls, anything that seemed strange? The moment stretched like a held breath. Luna felt Gabriel's attention on her like a weight, felt Emma playing innocently in the next room, felt the crushing responsibility of holding their futures in her hands. No, Uncle Ricardo. Nothing unusual. Mr. Montenegro is a devoted father who works hard to provide for his daughter. Gabriel's exhale was barely audible, but Luna caught it. Her uncle frowned. Luna, this is a murder investigation. Isabella Reyes was killed, and I have reason to believe someone in this house knows more than they're saying. Then maybe you should be investigating the right people, Luna said quietly. Instead of harassing a widower who's trying to rebuild his life, Detective Martinez stared at her for a long moment. This isn't like you, Mia. The Luna I know would want justice for a murdered woman. The Luna, you know, was naive enough to believe the world is black and white, Luna replied, and meant every Word, some things are more complicated than they appear. After her uncle left, the house fell into oppressive silence. Emma had been sent to her room, and Mrs. Henderson had mysteriously found urgent errands elsewhere. Luna and Gabriel faced each other across the living room like opposing armies. "Well played," Gabriel said finally.
Nice.
"Your uncle believes you're just an innocent girl who's been seduced by luxury and a dangerous man. Isn't that exactly what I am?" Gabriel's smile held no warmth. "If you were innocent, you would have told him about the phone call you overheard. About the conversations regarding Isabella, about my confession this morning." Luna lifted her chin. "Maybe I'm protecting Emma. Maybe you are. Or maybe you've realized that being Mrs. Gabriel Montenegro would solve all your problems. All your father's medical bills, your family's poverty, your own future security." The words hit like acid. "You think I'm a gold digger now? I think you're smart enough to recognize an opportunity when you see one. The question is whether you're ruthless enough to take it." Luna stood abruptly. "I need some air." She walked into the garden, breathing deeply of the evening air that smelled like roses and coming rain. Gabriel's words had cut deep because part of them was true. She had noticed how much easier life was with money, how simple problems became when you could throw cash at them. But she had also noticed how Emma smiled now when she woke up, how the nightmares were becoming less frequent, how Gabriel's eyes had started holding hope instead of just pain. She was so lost in thought that she didn't hear footsteps until a familiar voice spoke behind her. "Hello, Luna." She spun around to find a man she didn't recognize, middle-aged with cold eyes and expensive clothes. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" "Mateo Delgado," he said, extending a hand she didn't take. "I believe you work for Gabriel Montenegro." Luna's blood went cold. This was the man whose family, Gabriel's associate, had mentioned, the one asking dangerous questions about Isabella. "Mr. Montenegro isn't available," she said carefully. "I wanted to speak with you."
You see, I know who you are, Luna.
"Martinez. I know your uncle is investigating my sister's murder." "Isabella was your sister?" "She was. And she was gathering evidence against the Montenegro family when she died, evidence that disappeared with her." Mateo stepped closer. "But I think she might have hidden it somewhere safe. Somewhere Gabriel wouldn't think to look. I don't know anything about any evidence. Maybe not yet. Do you have access to places in that house where others don't?" "Emma's room, Gabriel's. Private study, even his bedroom, from what I hear." Luna felt heat flood her cheeks. "Whatever you've heard is wrong. Is it? It's because my sources tell me Gabriel Montenegro is quite taken with his daughter's young nanny. Taken enough to trust her with secrets he's never shared with anyone else." "What do you want from me?" Mateo smiled, and it was the coldest thing Luna had ever seen. "I want justice for my sister. I want Gabriel Montenegro to pay for what he did to her. And if I can't help you, then I'll be forced to share some very interesting photographs with your uncle. Photos of you and Gabriel in what could charitably be called compromising positions." Luna's world tilted. "You've been watching us?" "I've been watching him for months." Imagine my surprise when Detective Martinez's niece walked into the picture. Such a convenient coincidence. Mateo pulled out his phone and showed her a photo that made her stomach drop. It was from the night Gabriel had kissed her, taken through her bedroom window with a telephoto lens. These photos could destroy both. "Your reputations," Mateo continued. "They could also suggest to certain people that you've been compromised as a witness, that perhaps your testimony can't be trusted. What do you want me to do? Find Isabella's evidence?" She kept records of everything, financial transactions, recordings of conversations, photographs of meetings. It's hidden somewhere in that house, and if I find it, then Gabriel Montenegro goes to prison where he belongs, and you get to walk away from this with your reputation intact." Luna stared at the photo, seeing her own face soft with love as Gabriel's hands framed her cheeks. "And if I don't, then I release these photos. Tell your uncle about your romantic relationship with the primary suspect and watch both your lives crumble. Gabriel will still go to prison, but he'll take you with him." Thunder rumbled overhead as the first raindrops began to fall. "You have 48 hours, Mateo said, pocketing his phone. "Find Isabella's evidence or face the consequences." As he walked away, Luna stood in the growing storm, realizing that her choice had been an illusion all along. She had been maneuvered into this position like a chess piece. and now she had to decide between betraying the man she loved and destroying both their lives. Behind her, the house glowed with warm light, and she could see Gabriel's silhouette in his study window. He had trusted her enough to confess murder, had opened his heart despite every instinct warning him to stay closed. And now she was going to have to repay that trust by tearing his world apart. The rain began to fall harder, but Luna remained. In the garden, letting it soak through her clothes as she tried to find a way to save them all, and knowing there might not be one. Luna spent the next day searching the house like a woman possessed. She went through Gabriel's study while he was at meetings, checked Emma's room during school hours, and even explored the basement storage areas. But Isabella's evidence remained. Hidden, if it existed at all, with 12 hours left before Mateo's deadline, Luna made a desperate choice. That evening, after Emma was asleep, she went to Gabriel's bedroom. He was standing at the window, still dressed in his business clothes, looking out at the city lights. "You've been avoiding me all day," he said without turning around. "I've been thinking. It's about whether you made the right choice with your uncle." Luna closed the door behind her and leaned against it. "About whether I'm brave enough to tell you the truth." Gabriel turned then, his dark eyes searching her face. "What truth?" "Mateo Delgado contacted me yesterday. Isabella was his sister." Gabriel went completely still. What did he want? Evidence. He believes Isabella hid records somewhere in this house, records that prove you ordered her murder, and he asked you to find them. He gave me 48 hours. I don't deliver. He releases photographs of us together to my uncle. Photos that would destroy both our reputations and make me useless as a witness. Gabriel's face revealed nothing.
How?
Did you find anything?
Oh, but Gabriel, I need to know that.
Truth. All of it. Did you kill Isabella? The silence stretched between them like a bridge on fire. Gabriel moved to his dresser, opened a drawer, and pulled out a manila envelope. "Isabella's evidence," he said, holding it out to her. "Everything she gathered about my family's business dealings, financial records, photographs, recorded conversations. Enough to put me away for life." Luna stared at the envelope, afraid to touch it. "You had it all along. I've had it for 2 years. Hidden in plain sight where no one would think to look." "Where?" Gabriel smiled sadly. "Emma's jewelry box. It's the one shaped like a ballerina that plays Swan Lake. Isabella gave it to her for her 5th birthday. She thought it was the perfect hiding place because no one would ever search a child's belongings. You found it. I found it the day Isabella died. She'd left me a note telling me where to look if anything happened to her. She was terrified, Luna. She knew she was in danger." Luna felt sick. "So you did kill her?" "No." Gabriel's voice was quiet but firm. "I was going to. I'd given the order, set everything in motion. But when I read her note, saw how scared she was, I couldn't go through with it. I called off the hit." "Then how did she die?" "Car accident. Real one this time. She was driving to meet with a federal prosecutor when she lost control on a mountain road." Gabriel's voice cracked. "She died thinking I was going to have her murdered, and I died knowing I'd been planning to." Luna's mind reeled. "But the phone call I overheard. You talking about handling the Delgado family problem? Intimidation? Threats? Making them think I was dangerous enough to back off? I've never actually killed anyone, Luna, but I've let people believe I have, because fear is more effective than violence. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because a man who almost commits murder isn't much better than one who goes through with it. Because I needed to know if you could love me even believing I was a killer." Gabriel stepped closer, his eyes intense. "Because if you could accept that version of me, then maybe you could forgive the man I actually am." Luna looked down at the envelope in her hands. "What happens if I give this to Mateo?" "I go to prison for money laundering, tax evasion, and conspiracy charges. Emma goes to foster care. You walk away with your conscience clear and your reputation intact. And if I don't, Mateo releases those photos. Your uncle loses faith in your testimony. I eventually get arrested anyway, but you go down with me." As an accessory, Luna felt tears burning her eyes. "There has to be another way." "There is." Gabriel cupped her face in his hands. We run. Tonight. Take Emma and disappear. New identities, new lives, new country. The money I've made from questionable dealings can buy us freedom. That's not living. That's just a different kind of prison. But we'd be in it together. Luna stared into his eyes and saw her future reflected there. A life spent looking over their shoulders, Emma growing up knowing her father was a fugitive. Love built on a foundation of running and hiding. I can't do that to Emma, she whispered. She deserves better. Gabriel's hands dropped from her face. Then you know what you have to do? Luna nodded, feeling her heart break with every breath. She walked to the window and called Mateo, telling him she had what he wanted an hour later. She handed over Isabella's evidence to a man whose smile was nothing but sharp edges and satisfaction. Gabriel was arrested that night, led away in handcuffs while Emma cried in Luna's arms. The media circus that followed was brutal. Gabriel's trial dominated headlines for months. The evidence Luna had provided was damning but not devastating. Money laundering and conspiracy charges, not murder. He was sentenced to 5 years, eligible for parole in 3. Luna testified against him, her voice steady, as she recounted the conversations she'd overheard, the documents she'd found. She never mentioned the kisses, the way he'd made her feel alive. The nights she'd spent dreaming about a different kind of life. On the day Gabriel was sentenced, their eyes met across the courtroom. He mouthed 3 words that made her chest cave in. Thank you, Luna. Because he understood what she had given up to save his daughter, Emma stayed with Luna during Gabriel's imprisonment. Officially, Luna was her legal guardian, appointed by the court because of their established bond. Unofficially, Luna was a woman, raising the child of the man she'd sent to prison, loving them both with a fierceness that threatened to consume her. 3 years passed. Emma grew taller, her nightmares faded, and she stopped asking when Daddy was coming home. Luna worked as a teacher now, having used her experience with Emma to pivot into education. They lived in a small apartment across town, far from the Montenegro mansion that had been seized by the government the day Gabriel was released. Luna wasn't there to meet him. She had considered it, had even driven to the prison gates twice, but ultimately chose to stay home with Emma, who was now 10, and had adapted to life without her father with the resilience of childhood. Gabriel found them anyway. Luna opened the door on a Saturday morning to find him standing in the hallway, older and leaner, wearing clothes that didn't fit quite right. Prison had carved away everything unnecessary, leaving behind something harder, but somehow more honest. Double quotes. Hello, Luna. Gabriel. Her voice caught on his name. Emma's at her friend's house. No, I've been watching for 2 hours, waiting for her to leave. I needed to see you first. They stared at each other across the threshold, 3 years of silence stretching between them. I don't know what to say, Luna whispered. And don't say anything, just listen. Gabriel stepped closer, but didn't enter the apartment. I spent 3 years thinking about what I'd say to you when I got out. Whether I'd hate you, or thank you, or beg you to run away with me. And what did you decide? That I love you more now than I did the day you destroyed my life to save my daughter? Luna felt tears spill over. Gabriel, I'm so sorry. Couldn't find another way. I tried, but you made the only choice that mattered. Emma had a chance at a normal life because of what you did. You think I don't know that you've been sending her letters signed love, Daddy? You think I don't know you've been putting money in my commissary account every month? Luna's sob was answer enough. You've been raising my daughter, Luna. You've been loving her when I couldn't, protecting her when I failed to, giving her stability. When my choices left her with nothing, Gabriel's voice was rough with emotion. You think I could hate you for that? She still loves you, Luna said through her tears. She keeps your picture by her bed. She talks about you all the time. What do you tell her? Her daddy made mistakes, but that he's still a good man. That sometimes good people do bad things for reasons that make sense to them. That love is complicated. Gabriel smiled, and Luna saw glimpses of the man she'd fallen in love with in that grand house that felt like a lifetime ago. What do you tell her about us? Nothing. There is no us, Gabriel. There can't be. Why not? Because I'm the woman who sent you to prison? Because Emma deserves a stable life without the complication of her guardian being in love with her father? Because this is too messy, too impossible? Gabriel reached out and touched her face. thumb wiping away her tears. Because you're afraid. Terrified, Luna admitted. Good, so am I. Gabriel leaned closer, his forehead touching hers. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. I'd rather spend the rest of my life proving I deserve your love than spend it wondering what we could have been. Gabriel, we can't just pick up where we left off. Too much has happened. Not asking to pick up where we left off. I'm asking to start over. Completely. No secrets, no lies, no dangerous games. It's just a man who loves a woman and wants to earn the right to be part of her life. Luna closed her eyes, feeling the familiar electricity when he touched her, the same pull that had gotten them into this mess in the first place. What about Emma? We tell her the truth? Age-appropriate version, but the truth. That I made bad choices that hurt people. That you helped me face consequences for those choices. That sometimes the people who love us most are the ones brave enough to hold us accountable. And if she hates me for it, she won't, because she's smart enough to understand that you saved me from becoming someone worse. And because she loves you, Luna. You're the closest thing to a mother she's ever really known. Luna opened her eyes and found Gabriel watching her with an expression of such hope and vulnerability that it broke her heart all over again. This is insane, she whispered. Completely, Gabriel agreed, echoing their conversation from years before. But I'm done being afraid of insane. I'm done being afraid of you, of us, of the possibility that we might actually deserve happiness. Luna looked into his dark eyes and saw their entire future laid out in possibilities. The fights they would have about his past, the slow work of rebuilding trust, challenge of blending their complicated family. The way Emma might react to her father and her guardian becoming something more, but she also saw Saturday morning breakfasts and bedtime stories read by two voices instead of one. She saw Gabriel teaching Emma to drive while Luna had heart attacks. In the passenger seat, she saw graduations and weddings and grandchildren who would never know the whole truth about how their grandparents fell in love. Ask me again in a year, Luna said finally. Gabriel's face fell. Luna, asked me again in a year. After you've proven you can be the father Emma needs without the dangerous complications. After you've shown me that Gabriel Montenegro, the ex-convict, is different from Gabriel Montenegro, the man who almost ordered a murder. After we've both figured out who we are now, separate from who we were in that house. Gabriel was quiet for a long moment. And if I do all that, if I prove I've changed? Luna rose up on her toes and kissed him softly, tasting salt from her own tears, and something that might have been redemption. Then maybe we'll discover that some love stories are worth waiting for. Gabriel cupped her face in his hands, memorizing. The moment, 1 year, 1 year. He stepped back, and Luna watched him walk away down the hallway, toward whatever future he was going to build for himself, toward whatever man he was going to become. A year later, Luna opened her door to find Gabriel standing there again, but this time he was different, calmer, more settled in his own skin. He held a job as a security consultant, used his knowledge of financial crimes to help businesses protect themselves. He had an apartment across town and saw Emma every weekend, slowly rebuilding their relationship. It's been a year, he said. Simply Luna smiled, her heart racing the same way it had in his mansion study all those years ago. So it has. I love you, Luna Martinez. I love the woman who was brave enough to save my daughter from my mistakes. I love the woman who chose justice over easy answers. Love the woman who's been waiting for me to become someone worthy of her. Luna stepped back, opening the door wide. Then you better come inside. Emma's making pancakes, and she's been practicing. A speech about why her daddy and Luna should get married. Gabriel's laugh was full of wonder and joy, and the kind of hope that survived even the darkest storms. Just so you know, I plan to say yes to whatever she proposes. Even if it's a princess wedding with a bouncy castle, especially if it's a princess wedding with a bouncy castle. Luna took his hand, feeling that same electric shock from their very first touch, amplified now by everything they had survived to get to this moment. As Gabriel stepped into their small apartment, into the life they had built from the ashes of the one that had nearly destroyed them both, Luna realized that some love stories didn't end with fairy tale endings. They ended with something better. They ended with truth, with choice, with the hard work of loving someone enough to become the person they deserved, they ended with coming home. The end.